My name is Mark, and I spent the last year, 2014-2015, in the USA on a foreign exchange year in the state of North Carolina. And well, I'm here today to answer your questions concerning my foreign exchange year.
Hi, I'm Ulrika and I was in Ireland in County Galway.
Hello, my name is Janis. I'm from the Max Steenbeck Gymnasium in Cottbus, and I was 2014 to 15 in Japan.
Well, I think it really began which was October 2013. My brother had spent 1 year in the USA, that was in 2009, and I really thought that was a cool idea and I wanted to do that as well. And yeah, he was in New York, and he was asking me if I would like to spend a year in the USA as well. And I first of all thought that was a huge idea, and I couldn't really believe and imagine doing that. But as it turned out, I really ended up doing that, so it was great, yeah, it was cool.
Well, it was an English topic in our 10th grade and I figured it sounded nice, so I thought about it and then I just did it because it was nice.
Well, the idea came from I was in the 10th class and therefore I had many exams to do or many tests to do, and so I had lots of stress in school. And then I came to the idea to go abroad, school is kind of really stressed all day, so I wanted to go abroad and have a nice time, maybe like this, maybe a bit travel. But actually it was kind of really hard and I didn't expect it to be so hard.
In all honesty, I think in the course of the past 5, 6 or 7 years, a student exchange to the US has become more and more expensive and really hard to finance, so I had to apply for a scholarship in order to do that. And what I did was I applied for in German we would call it PPP, or the English version is called CBYX, which is Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange. And if you get that scholarship, it'll be a full paid exchange year. I was at first overwhelmed by the huge amount of work I had to do in order to apply for that and everything, but I was very fortunate and I was very lucky to get that, and I'm really thankful for that, really, so that was great.
Well, my parents started saving money for some school stuff and so on when I was born, so they actually just, they had enough to finance it already, thanks to that.
Well, my grandparents gave me some money. My parents are not so rich, so we don't have so much money, but I asked my grandmother and my grandfather for money to go abroad, and so they gave me some money. Well, also it's, there's so many volunteers in this organization, it's called AFS, so you don't have to pay so much money or as much money as in other organizations.
So when I came to the USA, I first stayed with a welcome family. And the thing about welcome families is that they only host you for 4 or 5 months or a temporary period of time. So I stayed with them until the end of 2014, but still it was a great family and I just had an awesome time. And they helped me get through hard times and they supported me at all times, and that was just great. And I think that helped me in my entire exchange year. But when I had to change families to my second host family, I was at the beginning really sad, but then everything was okay, and it wasn't a big problem after all. So, and they were a good family too, so nothing to complain about really.
Mostly yes. I mean, of course you have some problems from time to time. I mean, you have that with your own family as well. But they were great and they had really nice kids, so it was great.
course I got along with them well. So I had to get along with them well because, yeah, of course it's my new host family, my new family. The only problem when I arrived was like they're Japanese and therefore they cannot speak English that well. So when I arrived there, the only person who was able to speak English was my older host brother, and my host mother and my host dad, they weren't able to speak English. So we had to communicate with these Google Translate app for smartphone. So it was kind of really hard to communicate with them. So if they wanted to say me something, they had to take their smartphone and they had to translate what they wanted to say, and it was like, yeah, Google Translate. I don't have to say that much for them.
I can actually remember my first day at school pretty well. It was like that. The school bus arrived late in front of our house, meaning that I arrived late at school. So I didn't even have my schedule set up too. So I had to go to the guidance counselor. Those are the people who basically set up your schedule, and you can create your timetable. So when I came to my second class that day, the teacher said to me, "Who are you? And you're late." And everything went totally wrong, and I was really embarrassed, but fortunately they found out I was an exchange student, so that wasn't too bad at all. So yeah, it was funny.
It was pretty awkward since the exchange students started school a week later than the Irish students in my school. So we came there and everyone was going to school, and we just had this introductory talk. And yeah, we knew nobody, like we didn't even knew ourselves, so it was weird.
Well, the first day was kind of, how to say, it was like I was really excited to go to this school because of course I was in Germany and then I was in Japan, so therefore it was kind of really different from our schools. So it was a really huge school with 5 floors or something like that, and lots of classrooms, and of course everybody was Japanese in this school, and I was the only one who was like European or who was kind of different. So I went to my class and I was like, oh my god, what will they say about me? So I came in, and then they were like, oh my god, he's the exchange student, oh my god, look at him, his eyes are so big and his nose is so big, and look at his mouth. I was like really surprised and kind of more excited because, oh my god, what did I do? I thought. And they were like screaming all the time, oh my god, he's the exchange student. And also other people from other classes came to my class and they were looking from the door and saying like, oh my god, he's the exchange student, but he's so different from us. So I do not dare to talk to him, and therefore it was kind of really hard to communicate with somebody. Of course they couldn't speak any English, so I had to give my best in Japanese.
I can definitely tell you about my best experience. Well, I know I had many good experiences. For example, I ran in the cross-country team, which was really fun. But I think the best thing of all was prom, which was at the end of May, which was pretty close to the end of my exchange year. And that was just an awesome experience because I was a junior, and usually at most high schools, only the seniors, the 12th graders, get to attend prom. And since I was a junior, my high school had the same rights for them as for seniors. So that was really cool, and I just had a great time that evening, and yeah. But for one thing, I also don't think there is really a bad experience. But if there's something that was really disappointing, it would be this. It was about November, December, I think. And my local coordinator, which is the person that organizes everything for the exchange students in that region, she had planned a trip to Charleston in South Carolina. And usually you know this city as a really warm city and sunny, and it has a huge beach and is well known for the Charleston dance. So, and one thing that was strange is we were going to that sunny city in the middle of December, which didn't fit at all, and I was already a little bit scared that something might go wrong. And so when we got there, everything was rainy and cold, and we were there for the whole weekend, and it only rained and was really terrible. So that was pretty sad, and I really promised myself that I'd go back there again, but this time in summer sometimes. So, yeah.
The best experience was when we had this huge celebration for my host brother's communion. I was allowed to invite friends over, and the whole family of my host family came over, and it was really great. We had lots of food and everybody was happy, and there was a bouncy castle, and yeah, that was great. It was really funny. My worst experience, I guess that's really hard, because when you're away from home, even little things sometimes seem like the worst thing ever happened to you, so don't think I can really judge that right. Yeah, I guess the worst experience was being sick in Ireland, because when you're sick, you just kind of want your mother to care for you, and have that normal stuff you always get when you're sick, but I mean you can't because you're not at home. And I don't know, in my family, when you're sick, there are just normal patterns that start then, like getting this sickness food or so. Like special soup or something you always get when you're sick, because poor you is sick. But yeah, you wouldn't get that in Ireland, of course not. And then you just feel even more sick because, well, nothing happens.
Well, the best experience I made was if I joined my friends of school, so the other boys or girls, and if I could do something with them together, going to a restaurant or eating something, or just enjoying after school or hanging out after school. So I felt I'm not different anymore. I'm kind of like Japanese. Well, I look different maybe, but I'm kind of Japanese. So I felt really comfortable there, and I felt, I gave my best, I learned the language, and therefore, I'm a really Japanese person. Sorry. So, the worst experience was at Christmas, I guess. Well, my host family, of course, had to work, and I had holiday, so I was alone all the day at home. And I thought, what could you do? Or it's so boring, I have nothing to do. And also my host brothers were going to football club or the baseball club or something like that. So they went home either. And I was the only person who was at home the whole day, from the morning until evening. And I was so bored, and I thought, what did I do? What was wrong? Because nobody was there, and of course I could ask my friends if they had any time to do something, so I did, but they always told me I have to learn for school, I have to study for an exam, so they hadn't any time either. It was kind of really hard, and I was not really crying, but really depressed.
Well, I think an exchange year is a really great experience for anybody. And personally, I think it helped me to understand the American culture, and I really got an idea of how big the world is actually. Because usually you live in your country and you think, this is how it is, and you never really get out of this country. And when I came to the US, I didn't go there as for holidays or for vacation. I lived in the US for a year, and that really made a difference, because you really learn the language. That's one thing. I think it's really hard to learn language in class at school. Learning the language to the full extent is only possible, in my opinion, by doing an exchange year. So that's one thing. And again, as I said, I got to know many awesome people, and it was just really great. And I I really appreciate that I had this chance. So that was awesome.
Well, I think I learned lots of things, but they're just small things you don't really notice. It's just, for example, well, it's not that important what grades you get. It's just, yeah, what you do with your life is more important and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't think there's like this one big answer to that question.
Well, to be tolerant, of course. And if you come to a new country, you don't have to be like the German person. You have to behave like the person in the country, of course. Like you cannot be, or you cannot think just straightly, well, I'm German, therefore you have also to behave like Germans, and you're so different or something like that. The only person who is different in this country is you, and therefore you have to change yourself. You have to be like the persons in this country.
Well, of course. I think of all things, this was probably the greatest year I spent in my entire life so far. And yeah, I'd do it at any time again. So, because it was just a great experience, and yeah, it was. I think it was the best chance I ever had. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great experience, and yeah, I think I would definitely do that again if I could.
I would do it again, of course. Well, why I cannot say, but like it was such a great experience to learn all these people, to get to know all these people, to get to know all my new friends in Japan over there, and also to have like a second family, a second home in another country, and that is a great feeling, I can say.
And one last thing that I think everybody should know before doing an exchange year is that absolutely it's going to be a great time, and yeah, no doubt about it. But one thing everybody should know is that there are going to be hard times too, and it's not like everything is going to be perfect. And I think you have to remember that. And that is what I learned in the USA too. It's not going to be like everything's going smooth and everything's fine. So, and that's the thing about it. You grow personally by mastering these hardships. And I think that's really important.
今日のインタビューを聞いていただいて本当にありがとうございます。
You! Yeah, you!